Hey, how's it going, everybody? Coach Kyle here, and this is the full warm-up routine. And the video here is 19 minutes. And if you really do this with dedication, with purpose, and without your phone, it takes about 10-15 minutes. Now, this first part you can really do just if you really want to just do the minimal warm-up. This first part with the little skips and whatnot can work out really well. But we start off here with just skipping little light skips with arm swings forward and then arm swings back. And you'll see that I'm only doing this, up and down my driveway sidewalk. And then we go into arm swings side to side. And the purpose here is really just to slowly, easily warm up the body and the legs in a running specific manner. You can go a little bit longer if you want. You can go a little bit shorter. And then we have the skips with 360-degree twists. And like I said, you can go a little bit longer. Sometimes I'll go down to the corner. Sometimes I'll go back. It's not that big of a deal. Then we've got the reverse steps. We're not reaching as far back as we can. Just a little bit of an extension backwards versus what would be a normal, walk backwards. Just a little bit of a reach and then coming back up. And I want to give a shout out to Jay Johnson, who's kind of been a mentor to me, unknowingly to him, for a lot of my strength work. I get a lot of my warm-up, my cool downs from him, and he shared this video in conjunction with a coach out of Boulder, I believe, Jeff Bollet. And here we have a reverse kind of skip backwards. And shout out to those guys, Coach Jay Johnson, Jeff Bollet, for sharing this. Here we have butt kicks, and they do a great job with their strength work. And Jeff Bollet says that they do this routine. We have side shuffle, side skips with arms out to the side, and they do this routine before every run and with his high schoolers. And I try to do this routine, at least this first part here, before every run. So now we have side skips with jumping jack arms, and it's just a nice running specific way to warm up. And I've noticed, you'll see the calf sleeve, I've noticed that having this warm up really helps my calf start the run warmed up, loosened up. And then we have the karaoke, which is hard to explain. It's kind of just a side shuffle where you're moving your feet forward and backwards around each other. I think it's also called the grapevine, and our feet are kind of intertwining around each other. And then here we have quick skips, and these aren't quite where you're skipping as high as you can. You're not getting your knee up as high as you can. They're just quick skips, and really focus on dorsiflexion of your toes and your ankles. So you're bringing your toes up towards your shin. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some dynamic flexibility, mobility, and it's leg swings to start off. So I use this tree here. I use the pole to the right if it's in the shade, and we're going to do leg swings side to side and leg swings forward and backwards. And with this, don't swing out of control. Keep it a little controlled. But you're getting some good range of motion with this. And you can do 8, 10, 12 reps, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Go side to side and then forward and backwards with that swinging motion. And then we're going to move into hurdle leg forward and hurdle leg backward. And this is something that you've maybe done on the ground on all fours, but we're going to do it standing up here. And again, you really using that hip to get the leg forward and backwards. And it's when I'm doing these on the ground, I try to keep my ankle almost up as high as my knee. But standing like this, I obviously can't even get close. Thank God I'm not a hurdler. But kind of just focus on nice controlled movement with that upper leg forward and backwards. Oh, and then here's the deck guy. He came and worked on my deck and stained the deck in that front wood there. It looks a lot better now than it did. So now we're going to do some reaches, and this is just for some little back mobility to get that cerebral spinal fluid flowing a little bit with that back. And just up and down, 10 reps or so. Again, it's not, the rep count isn't a huge deal with these. Typically I do 8 to 12 or so reps, and just kind of going as I feel like I need to keep going or I need to stop. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the ground-based work. So here you can see I just laid down a yoga or a towel. We keep it in the back of the Prius. And to start off with, we're just going to do cat-cows. So, arch the back, lower the back. And then we're going to do something called something cobra. But it's just, again, forward and backwards, moving the hip, glute, core. We got reaches. Don't stress too much about how far you're reaching. Keep it comfortable. Reach through and then up towards the sky. And again, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12 reps, not a huge deal. Coffee break. And I'm actually drinking some coffee as I do this voiceover as well. Okay, fire hydrant, where we're in the table position and we simply bring our leg up. And most importantly when doing these types of exercises is focus on not only how the limb that's moving, but try to keep your hips level as well. Number one, if you're doing one-legged deadlifts or fire hydrants like this, here we have donkey whips, donkey kicks. These are donkey kicks. Again, one-legged deadlifts or donkey kicks, keep the hips level, and you might have to focus on that and think about it. If your hips are a little weak, you might have to work a little harder just to keep those hips. Now we're doing donkey kicks, but we're going farther in and out than the typical ones I do, but we're just getting more range of motion out of this. But try to keep those hips level. You might have to work at keeping the hips level, but that's okay. That's the point. As you do that, your hips strengthen, and as you strengthen during these strength routines while you're running, your hips are stronger and they won't sag, they won't drop as much while running, so you'll have more stability and strength from the strength work, during the strength work, to the runs. And that's what all this is for. And here's me not being sure where Banjo is. Okay, and sorry not sorry, but you're gonna see some cute dog tricks. So we have come, we have sit, twirl. Let's see if he'll lay down on, yep, he'll lay down. Doesn't like doing that on hard surfaces. Come on, high five. Do the high five. Poof, yeah. And then I think I have one more treat for him. Okay, so now we're going to work on some final kind of almost sprint mechanics here. We've got the A march, and this is kind of like the high knee, but we're basically just marching in place. Dorsiflex, that the toes, bring those toes up towards the shin, knee, leg, nice and up towards the chest. This is the A march. And then we have a quicker A march here, where there's just a little bit more kind of motion and movement to it. Almost, you're just barely coming off the ground. So then after the A march skip, we have the B march. And this is where you just kind of reach a little bit out. So your leg comes up, and as the leg hits that top of the range of motion, and the lower leg kind of hits the top of the bottom of the upper leg, I suppose, it snaps up towards the butt and then out forward. And then we have the B skip, where just like the A skip, just a little bit more motion, movement, kind of a little bounce to it. And again, we're not reaching out super far in front of us. It's more like the leg is coming up, the lower leg is coming up into the upper leg and then snapping up into the butt and then out forward and down. And then to close it out, we just have quick skips, really short skips. The goal here is to bring the foot over the ankle of the other foot. So it's almost like a circular bicycle type motion almost with your feet. So they're not just going straight up and down or forward and back, but they're kind of going in circles. You can really see it there when I emphasize it right there, where the legs are moving around each other. Think that if there was a stick or something going through the ankle side to side, and you have to move your other foot up and over and around that stick. You can't move it through the ankle, through the stick. And so I think that covered it. That was the entire full routine, and we're at 12 and a half minutes, and that includes some dog tricks. So again, this isn't, I'm just closing out with some marching. This isn't a long routine, a complicated routine. And after you go through it a few times, you can really just do it off memory. And if you miss a couple of the movements, again, no big deal. Here I'm marching backwards again because I kind of like this one. But, if you're short on time, just go through the first section. If you've got 12 minutes, go through the entire section. It's not that huge of a deal, and it just does the trick, helps you have a better run. Thank you.